Hey everyone. I thought I'd kind of throw my 2 cents into the situation, my 2 cents, and give my thoughts on the situation going on. You see, recently TNA has been, I guess you can say, having some financial problems, if you will, kind of like internal problems. And now I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people are speculating already that this means they're done. That this is like basically the final year, final something. That's not the case. You see, as long as Panda Energy is supplying them with some kind of financial funding, and Spike TV is still behind them with the financial funding, Tna'S not going anywhere. Believe me, they're not going anywhere. I mean, I can understand maybe the concern of some fans that actually do enjoy TNA as an alternative, but the reason being, from what I just read, and I'm sure a lot of you could probably understand, would probably be surprised by this, but from what I understand, hold on for a second. Sorry about that, folks. I thought somebody was coming over there. But like I said, from what I understand, from what I just read online, when Dixie Carter met with talent and some corporate officials, office officials, if you will, one of the things she mentioned about the possibility of continuing some budget cuts, she basically explained the reason for those budget cuts is because of how much money they put into the one night only pay-per-views that are in place of the other pay-per-views they used to have, like Victory Road, No Surrender, Against All Odds, those kind of things. And that is one of the reasons, apparently from what I understand, of the budget cuts that she basically, according to what one person said, she talked about in a talent meeting. She basically said that that's the reason they had to cut back on talent. They had to cut, they had to make budget cuts on talent and, backstage, backstage producers and, whatnot. She, that's why Tara was let go. That's why Doc was let go. That's why Bruce Pritchard was let go. And D'Lo Brown was let go because of the fact that it was all due to budget cuts. And Bruce Pritchard was actually a release that a lot of fans have been waiting for because basically they feel he held a lot of the knockouts back. And I think one of the things Bischoff and Hogan could appreciate is the knockouts. They know that they can go in that ring. So anyway, he was let go, not just for budget cuts, but for the fact that I think TNA, from what I understand, TNA wanted to keep Bruce, but they wanted him to take a budget cut, and he didn't want to do that, so they just let him go. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, and I know a lot of you are going to probably say, well, TNA shouldn't have done the one night only things. They should have just maybe done what they did with Destination X. Just make it a once a month deal on free paper on an episode of Impact. Just make it a special Impact related episode. And I get that, and I totally agree with that. They should have done that, but they didn't. They did. You see, the reason they did the one night only things was not only because they wanted to make up for the pay-per-views, a whole month worth of making up for the pay-per-views that they were taking out, but they also had a certain amount of dates left on the agreement, in the agreement with the Universal Studios. So they had to use those dates up by basically doing the one night only deal. Now, Now that's nothing. Now you think, okay, the budget cuts and everything, and the word going around a certain talent, even Hogan possibly being paid late, doesn't really help the image, right? Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard what happened this past weekend in Missouri. Yeah, TNA held a house show, or a live event house show in Missouri. Can't think of the town right now. But it was in Missouri. But unfortunately, it was not the best house show they could have ever put on. It was not the best house show they could ever put on. And here's why. The Missouri State Athletic Commission would not allow a certain amount of wrestlers, TNA stars, knockouts if you will, compete in that ring. They would not let them do it. They would not let them compete that night, even though they were advertised. So basically you had Bully Ray, Devon, James Storm, and a few others that could compete, that were permitted to compete. You had them competing in more than one match. You had the likes of the Cowboy James Storm competing in more than just his scheduled match. The same with Bully Ray and Devon. And the one thing that made up for it is at least the people got to meet with the stars afterwards. And James Storm was like, hey look, we bust our asses for you guys, we appreciate you tolerating what we just had to do, tolerating what just happened tonight, so we appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. And think about it this way. You're among one of the 300 to 400, maybe 500 fans in attendance that night. You're expecting to see the Enigma, Jeff Hardy. You're expecting to see Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, and some other people, and then you find out you can't because the State Athletic Commission won't allow it. What was the big deal? What did these guys do? Did they pass something? What's the point? What's the point of saying, hey, no problem, we'll let you book in this town, we'll let you book in our state? Oh, but by the way, hey, what I'm trying to say is, what's the point of them going out and having this venue in this town, in the state of Missouri, if you will, agree to let them have a show there, and then at the last second, have a show there, going like, oh yeah, you can book your show here, no problem. And then at the last second go like, oh, but by the way, we forgot to tell you about these certain superstars we have on this list that's on your roster. They can't compete tonight. We won't allow them. And it's like, what's the point of booking? What's the point of booking? It's stupid. It's stupid is what it is. I'm not trying to blame, I do blame the venue people that let TNA book there. But TNA, in a sense, does have to take the fault because they should have checked. And I'm sure they did, but if I was TNA, I would have double, triple, quadruple checked to make sure nothing was in the fine print. There was no catch, if you will. Because if I felt there was a catch, I would have said, no, I'm going to go somewhere else. Because again, it doesn't make sense. Basically what happened that night is that venue made TNA's house show, which apparently a lot of people says is which a lot of fans have said is a positive experience, that it's one of the best experience in live wrestling experiences you can have because it's an interactive experience with stars. Here's my deal. Here's my deal about this. This venue basically made TNA's house show look like a regular independent wrestling show in an auditorium. In something like a community building, and it wasn't even a community building. To me, what's the point of letting TNA book a live event there if you're not going to let all those superstars compete? I don't get it. But anyway, I digress. The way I look at it it's like this. I know Tna'S is having some internal problems and troubles, and I'm sure they're working them out. They're doing the best they can to work things out. And I believe they're going to get through this. I mean, they wouldn't have been around, they haven't been around for 11 years without having similar problems in the past and not been able to pull through. I'm sure they're going to be able to pull through this. I'm sure they are. Well, I mean, in fact, one fan, I think, made the right call in saying what they should do is something that they've done before. See, when they were in the impact zone, they would film a month's worth of impact 2 nights in a row. What they're saying here, but here's the thing though, that's 1 month's worth of that's in the impact zone. What TNA would have to do something similar is they basically have to do 3 shows in one venue. That's what they would have to do. 3 shows in one venue, and the best way for them to do that is on a Saturday or on a Friday or a Saturday where people can stay up late and they can be able to see the show. I mean, Thursday's fine and everything, but basically you would have to do 2 shows. Or do what WWE's doing this week. Do 2 shows in one arena, then do another impact taping the following night or the following weekend in another venue, and there you go. There's your month worth. Like, let's say, they did the Destination X and a regular impact taping from Louisville. Do that there, and then the following day or following weekend, do wherever you're going to be, do another impact taping there, another dual impact taping there, and then you're done for the month. It makes more sense, and it saves you financially, and it lets your talent kind of rest up a little bit. My honest opinion, though, I think what they need to do, my honest opinion, is they need to go back and talk with Universal Studios, or at least go in that direction of what that individual said, and that's do maybe 2 or 3 tapings for the month at one arena, or do 2 tapings at one arena, and then the following day or following Friday or Saturday, do another 2 tapings at the other venue you're going to be at, and then just go from there. It makes more sense, if you will. It makes more sense. I mean, I understand basically by doing the 2-week deal, the double tapings, you're giving your talent at least a week off. I get that. But it would work better because here's how it would work. You would have you'd have those other Thursdays, those 2 extra Thursdays to save money on. And it works. You wouldn't have to book twice. You'd already be booking. You've already been booked. I mean, if I'm them, I would do my base brawl as an impact event, as an impact television event, and that would help. And I know a lot of people are saying the other thing that's hurting them is marketing. I understand that. And I'm sure that, now that they have some new people around, from what I understand, that are getting some positive feedback, the marketing may help out. The marketing may get better. We'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, TNA has probably gone through this before in the past, and guess what? They've survived. So I think this is just another thing they're going to survive through. Basically what's hurting them the most this year is it's a transitional year. And this year, they're going to look back on as the years they transitioned from being in the impact zone to being on the road. So, because apparently from what Dixie Carter has said in that talent meeting, it's not the on the road deal that's hurt them. It's what they did earlier in the year that's hurt them, with the one night only pay-per-views. So, we'll just have to sit back and see what happens from there. But my personal opinion, I think, even though I don't watch TNA as much as I should, I believe they're going to get through this. I really do. They're going to be fine. They've gone through similar struggles, but I think they'll be fine. And you know what? If TNA really wants some publicity, I already did a video. I already showcased a video where I put the title on it. We have the Stanislaus County Fair every year in Turlock, California. They should go to that Stanislaus County Fair and do a show there. Go to the Variety Free Stage, go to the Stanislaus County Fair, go online, figure it out, book themselves there. Even though it would be free, they'd still be making money because people would be paying their way into the fair, and TNA can get a percentage of that. And that would help them out. So that would just be a suggestion for future reference. But that's all I'm going to say on it. I mean, TNA, I believe, is going to get through this. I mean, the budget cuts, yeah, you got to do certain things to save money, so, you know, what are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do? You got to cut certain things. I mean, they cut the pay-per-views that they do every month. That helped out. The one-night only deal is what basically is killing them. Well, not killing them, but hurting them the most, because they did that earlier in the year, and they basically had to pay all the talent that came in for one night only, if you know what I mean. So, that's about it. I believe they're going to get through this, and if not, it'd be a surprise. So, that's about it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'll talk to you all later.